Everyone, it's Alexis Cardoza.
What's up, everybody? It's the Wild Rhino Clark Connors from New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I am here getting wild, drinking an 805.
Hey, this is Billy Starks.
Rip F and Bison. I ran out of booze.
Join us because we're drinking at Moe's. I am the fire starter, the Carney Killer. I am born to die, Jake Christ.
This is Bobby Olson. We're drinking at Moe's. You better hit like and subscribe.
All right, everybody, taking time out before we get this show started. I want to thank Reaper Apparel for having Drinking at Moe's be a brand ambassador for their clothing line. They got good stuff. They got t-shirts. They got hoodies. They got beanies. They got lots of great stuff, encouraging everybody to break out of their comfort zone, live their best self, and hey, it's something I try to live every day. Now, be sure when you go and you're filling out your order, use the code Drinking at Moe's, get 10% off, and the link and the code will both be in the description. Let's fucking go. All right, everybody. Another edition here, Drinking at Moe's, my 2 cents. So today, we are going to go over some of the WWE releases, but before we get into that, you know the drill. YouTube, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Treat the like button, hit the like button, I should say, more than Homer Simpson gets hit in the head. All right. So, like I said, we're also on most audio platforms. And you know what? Like we always try to, and you know what? You reminded me of the last one we recorded. In the comments, leave not only a comment on the episode you are watching, but also leave us a comment as far as future topics you might want us to cover. All right. Oh, yeah. You said sounded like you were about to say something.
Oh no, I was agreeing with you.
Oh,
Do it
yeah.
in the comments, not the live chat, because we can't see the live chat unless we're watching the actual video.
Yeah, unless we are actually watching it as it happens. And like I've mentioned many times before, I'm my own worst critic when it comes to this stuff. I have fun in the middle of it, but watching it back, I pick myself apart. So, all right. So we had some WWE releases not too long ago. So everybody that was in those, we are in the middle of their non-compete clauses that they are known to have. My only thing right off the bat with the releases, one little outside comment before we get into some discussions on some of these people, is I find it hard to believe that these are, as they were noted, saying budget cuts.
Yes.
Because you're in the middle of getting a bigger rights deal. SmackDown is going to be moving to USA Network.
Mm-hmm.
You end up bringing in The Rock for a show, which I can't imagine was cheap by any means. And you're going to tell me that you needed to make budget cuts? I call bullshit.
So, yeah. Along with that, words coming out that the Endeavor folks, TKO group, whatever the hell it's called, wants to possibly move Monday Night Raw.
That would be a absolutely dumb fucking move.
So as you put, we got all these releases across the main roster, across NXT. They're calling it budget cuts, but at the same time, while all this is going on, you decide that you're going to bring in one of the hottest free agents in wrestling right now, as we know it.
Oh yeah, Jade
And you're
Cargill.
going to sit there and go, yeah, we've got some people here that we could push to the moon.
Yep.
We're going to go ahead and get rid of you, and we're going to bring this person in.
Yep.
I'm not saying that that's a bad move. It just looks and smells a little fishy.
Yeah. No, I'm not gonna say Jade Cargill going to WWE was a bad move. By all means, I think it could end up being something pretty fucking cool.
And when
have
she
that
showed up,
I was just gonna say, to have that in the midst of, air quotes, budget cuts, I call bullshit.
Well, you remember before there was talk of her signing, there was they had trademarked a name that was rumored to go to Jade Cargill when she showed up. The minute they show her whatever she pulled up in at the NXT show, No Mercy, and she pops out looking like Lady Gaga because of what she's wearing. Outlandish. And I mean, AEW, when she'd show up and she was cosplaying every pay-per-view she performed in, she cosplayed something, that's cool. What she showed up in an NXT was outlandish.
It looked to me like something that she was actually wearing during those last AEW appearances.
Mm-hmm. And when she gets out,
took it right over.
New WWE signee, Jade Cargill, and the internet exploded. What happened to whatever that name was? Why would you take someone who's probably one of the biggest free agents at this time?
Yeah.
And change your name?
Yeah. No, WWE
that may have been one of the things that became negotiated on, because we all know how WWE likes to own somebody's name.
That is true. So
that may have been one of the sort I'm looking for, negotiating tactics. This is my name. You can't.
Yep. No, that very well could be.
Oh, well, and she's already made some waves. She's been on SmackDown. I can't remember if she was on Raw.
I haven't.
But she showed up on SmackDown. Who, by the way, Nick Aldis showing up as the new SmackDown general manager, and had a very wonderful shot at your favorite wrestler.
I know. I was watching it. I loved it.
And it was very British, and it was very British the way he did. Walk up, Dom, big fan
of your dad.
And then just turned around very stoic. I mean, I saw that and I go, oh.
Oh, yeah. I bet you can just imagine my reaction when I was watching that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was ecstatic.
Yeah.
But anyways,
we're here to talk about the releases.
Yep, we're here to talk about the releases. First one that I have on my list, and I actually have a couple notes on here. Elias. Which here's the thing before I jump into it. Some of these guys were actually being used right before. There were even some plans for these guys. Other ones, not so much. They hadn't been seen for a while, like Elias. But here's my thoughts on him and where I think he could go, where I think he might be a good fit if he wants to use a gimmick similar to Elias, because I know they're not going to be to use the Elias name. That gimmick right now, I feel would fit extremely well in Impact. Like if you want to use that gimmick, just switch around the name.
Mhm.
With some of the gimmicks that they have going on in Impact right now, I feel that would fit extremely well.
Yeah.
And my only other thing with him is when they had that whole thing, Ezekiel.
Oh,
That
yes.
I feel
I'm,
like
I'm,
when
I'm Elias's brother.
yeah, when they switched back over to Elias, I don't feel like he really got the chance that he had going before they made that switch to
Well,
Ezekiel.
He had a bigger push before he became Ezekiel.
Yeah, way bigger. And I
And
just
and
feel
and he had a bigger push. I mean, he'd won the 24/7 title what, 4 or 5 times,
whatever it was, yeah.
something like that. So, granted, it's the 24/7 title. So, you won a championship. We'll go with that. But then somewhere along the lines, it just got lost, and we're going to take you off TV, and we're going to find something for you. And then next thing you know, I'm pretty sure he got that phone call. Hello? Shave? Why? Keep my job? All right, I'll shave. And then he shaves and he looks completely different. And then they decide to dress him up like the Ultimate Warrior. What the hell?
Yeah. I don't know.
And that was also during the time when, and I remember this was during the time when Cody Rhodes came back.
Mm.
And so they're trying to, get Cody a little more established back into the WWE fan base, which obviously didn't take that long.
Yeah, it didn't take long.
They're also trying to establish Ezekiel as, I don't know, just put him out there. Because when he walked out after WrestleMania, when Kevin Owens was pissing and moaning about something, it was like, what? That right there could have been don't do that. No, don't do that. Mm.
Yeah.
And then once, they took him off TV again, told him to grow his beard, and Elias is back. Well, what's the point?
Yeah.
I didn't get that one damn bit. I mean, it's almost like the Big Show turning heel and turning face.
Yeah. No.
It's like one week he's the bad guy, another week he's the good guy. We just can't figure out what the hell to do with him.
Yeah. It was frustrating, and you know what? I wish him all the best. I
do too.
I feel like he could really have a rocket behind him if he jumped over to Impact.
If he had the right people pushing him and not constantly pissing and moaning about the way he would do things.
I sincerely agree with you there, and I am firmly in belief that if he were to make the jump to Impact with that gimmick, with some of the gimmicks they got going on over there right now, that would get over like crazy.
Oh yeah.
All right, next one that I think surprised everybody.
Oh,
because
if it's the one that I'm thinking of, it surprised the hell out of me.
Well, there's two on here that kind of surprised the hell out of me. One, they weren't exactly getting used quite so much as of when it happened, but the one and only Dolph Ziggler.
I remember when he first came into WWE, and all he did was walk up to people. Hi, I'm Dolph.
He is one that I feel like the sky isn't even the limit for him wherever he chooses to go next. He could literally do amazing just about anywhere. Whether it be, the whole AEW Ring of Honor, hell, he'd do great in Impact. Whether he wanted to go over to Japan, he would do amazing
NWA.
over there.
NWA.
And NWA, as much as I will admit that I not paid so much attention to that product. I mean, I've had some people from NWA on the interviews. I got nothing but respect. So, but yeah, he would do great there.
Oh, he would. I mean, if you think about it, what was his last big push that he had?
God, I can't even remember.
It was they stuck him with Robert Roode. They won the SmackDown tag titles. He went down to NXT and won the NXT title off Braun Breaker. And that's about it.
That is about it, yeah.
And then he loses the NXT back to Breaker. He basically decides to go back to SmackDown and defend the titles. They lose the tag titles, and then it could be one of those things where they decide, okay, well, we'll go ahead and take you guys and we'll move you somewhere else where you don't have to contend over here. You can contend over here. And then Bobby Roode winds up hurting his neck. And I mean, if he's a producer.
Yep.
He's still doing Glorious Bombs.
Oh man, that latest one where he comes out of the production.
Know what a Glorious Bomb is? Google it.
Oh,
and then get in the comments of this video and thank us.
Oh, yep.
They are awesome.
Oh man, that latest one where he comes out of where it was first Michael Hayes coming out of the production, Michael Hayes. And then oh man, that was epic. That was a good one.
It was very epic. And I was in my kitchen when I was like, just waking up. And, hey, let's try. I gotta hear it. I've gotta hear
it. Yep. Oh man, and he is one of these releases. Well, we're going back to Dolph here.
Dolph.
He is one of these releases that I feel like could literally be an asset anywhere, whether it be any of those places that we mentioned. Hell, we didn't mention MLW. He'd be great there.
Yeah.
He would make a big splash there.
And
whether he wanted to do an indie run, he would make a ton of money.
Oh, he would. And the funny part about it is that a week before the releases were announced, his brother wrestles in AEW.
Yep.
Dolph Ziggler, real name Nick Nemeth. Brother wrestles in AEW, Ryan Nemeth, and he posted a picture on Twitter, X, whatever
the fuck you want to call it,
and it was a picture of the two of them standing next to each other with the AEW titles strapped around, photoshopped around their waists, and with the caption of "soon" with a question mark.
You know what? I was about to bring that up because there is that, I guess, rumor or people rumor innuendo, people fantasy booking in their head him joining his brother there. Which hey, that would be pretty cool. It'd be kind of a shot in the arm to his brother.
And it would bring up you could bring up a brother team versus brother team.
Another brother team.
Because you got the Young Bucks, Dick Jackson. You've got the Hardy Boys. Who is there any other? No, I think that's about it.
No, there's. I'm swear I am brain fart right now. I am not.
It happens.
Yeah, it happens. All right, but yeah, he'd be an asset anywhere.
Oh, he'd be anywhere.
Now, this one is another one of the other two that I feel like really caught people off guard. Because he was literally scheduled for a title match
Oh,
at NXT No Mercy. They actually had plans for this guy to win the title that night. We're talking about Mustafa Ali.
Mustafa Ali, the gentleman that has been to Omaha.
He has been to Omaha. I actually met him at that show. That was the show where I did that pro wrestling boot camp at,
You did,
and
yep.
we all just got to stay there before the doors opened. I got to talk to him there, and man, what a nice guy. This one, like, between the only reason I would put this one as more surprising than Dolph Ziggler is because Dolph Ziggler wasn't really getting used on TV at all.
No, he was just on the sideline showing up to catering.
Mustafa Ali
I'm just gonna hang out.
Mustafa Ali was literally getting used every week in
Every
NXT.
week. He was the center point of the North American title.
Yes, and like I said, word has been out that they literally had plans for him to win that night. This one literally caught the NXT staff off guard. And man,
and you and I had gone back and forth because I'm the one that saw it. I said it to you, and you're like, well, Vince does his own thing, and this happened after the whole takeover. So, erring on the side of caution, it might not have been Vince's idea, but then again, budget cuts.
yeah.
So it may have been one of those things where it's like, and we've talked about this before. The hand of NXT tries to talk to the hand of the main roster WWE, but somewhere there's a brick wall where everything just kind of gets bounced around. And when someone gets called up from NXT up here, they don't know what the fuck to do with them.
Yeah. And I'm hoping.
Whereas Shawn Michaels is down here on NXT, doing everything, putting Mustafa Ali, getting ready to put the NXT North American title on Mustafa Ali, they know nothing.
Yeah.
The main roster knows nothing. And if the main roster knows nothing, well, then you go up here to Endeavor TKO. What the hell do they know?
And here's my thing that I am hoping that will make at least that side of things better. Now that Vince is apparently just a air quotes figurehead, has no real say in creative anymore, maybe that'll change. Only time will tell. But
at the same time, I think Mustafa Ali, Dolph Ziggler, they kind of fall in the line of those. Everyone knows that they were done wrong. Everyone knows they were handed the bad cards when they made their main roster. Dolph Ziggler, 2-time world champion, but guess what? One of the biggest moments and after WrestleMania Monday Night Raw histories was Dolph Ziggler cashing in the Money in the Bank on and winning the World Heavyweight title. Word has come out now that Vince McMahon had absolutely no confidence in Dolph Ziggler. And the only reason why they put him out there is to get that, and I'm paraphrasing, get that damn briefcase out of his hands. Have him win the title, and then he held it for what? A month?
If that.
And then they took the title right off him because of concussion.
Yeah.
So, and then basically you hear that Vince McMahon had absolutely no confidence that Dolph Ziggler would be able to do jack and squat. So, right then and there, you can see that, Vince had his eye and it wasn't on Dolph.
Yeah, and
on
going
the flip
back
side, if you don't have your eye on Dolph, why the fuck did you have him be the sole survivor 5-6 years later?
Yeah. And going back to Ali here, much like Dolph, could be an asset literally anywhere. Oh my God, he is so damn good. Like
he could go anywhere. And if you got some of these promoters and bookers, whether they're indies, whether they're whether it's MLW, AEW, Impact, New Japan, maybe not New Japan, but you know where I'm going with this.
I could see him doing some good things.
I could see him doing, but not with the story that I'm getting ready to unfold here. And I've seen this several times. You've got guys that are released by WWE who were used very sparingly. Yeah, I'll use this for an example. Heath Slater, multiple time tag champion in WWE, was put in that really bad I've got kids storyline, which was entertaining to a point, but after a while it just got to a point of I don't know. He gets released and then he goes to Impact and he's found a home at Impact. Now, I use that because of, he's a multi-time tag champion. He hasn't, I don't think he's won singles titles because he's got that air over him of tag wrestling.
Yeah.
And, you put him in a tag team, whoever it's with, he was good. You put him in singles competition, people see him as losing all the time. What booker is going to put a title on the guy that loses all the time?
Yeah, they would really.
You sign Mustafa Ali, you could put him in a title picture right off the bat.
Oh, most definitely.
You could book him the exact opposite. My ear itches. You could book him the exact opposite that WWE did. And it'd be kind of like this is how we are, but we're going to take you, who was basically shit on by WWE, and we're going to elevate you here as kind of an FU to Vince and to Triple H and whoever else. Now, I say Triple H because he's the one in charge of creative. He might not have known about these right away.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows when it comes to who made the final decisions on those? I find it hard to believe that Triple H was really too much into it, especially with Mustafa Ali, because with the plans that they had for NXT and, Shawn Michaels being the behind the scenes guy that he is with NXT.
Yes.
I find it hard to believe that they wouldn't have communicated at all about it. But that's a story for another time.
Yeah.
I see nothing but great things for him wherever he chooses to go.
Oh yeah.
Definitely on my list of, the ones out of the releases that surprised me the most. Another one here that I'll go that, it surprised me, but like a lot of these guys, wasn't really getting used too much on TV. Shelton Benjamin.
Ah, yes.
He's another guy that I feel could literally fit in anywhere. I mean, he has the history in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
He has history with Ring of Honor. Although albeit before Tony Khan bought it. But still, he has that history there.
Mm-hmm.
He has that tie. He could even do amazing in Impact if he chose to. Mm-hmm. There's been rumors of him being a potential new member for the Blackpool Combat Club. He could fit in there.
Yeah. With his wrestling background, yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. The amazing amateur wrestling background that he has.
Mm-hmm.
He could fit in there.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, New Japan. I don't believe he. And you know what? By all means, in the comments, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't believe the history he has in Japan necessarily went with New Japan. I believe the main one was Noah. I could be wrong. Don't quote me. I believe the footage I mainly saw was with Noah. But again, great talent, could literally be an asset anywhere.
And he's one of those guys that, in my view, at one point was painted into that corner of tag wrestling.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
he has been able to take that, bring that out, and not be a tag wrestler. It's kind of like Booker T. When
Yeah.
Booker T first started winning singles titles in WCW, I'm like, the dude's a tag wrestler. Why is he? Then you realize that he can. Okay, I'm going to go along with it. Shelton Benjamin's the exact same way. He
Yeah.
faded into the corner as a tag wrestler, and now he's won multiple intercontinental titles, multiple United States titles, I believe. He's won the
I'm
United
wanting to
States
say
title,
so, yeah.
you
At
know,
least one.
at least one, and he's got a tag title run with Cedric
Ring of Honor.
Alexander. He's got a tag run with Cedric Alexander as part of the Hurt Business. But
That
other than
when it
that,
comes to WWE,
they just after that run ended, they just made him kind of a I don't want to call it a whiny bitch, but they kind of made it so that he's off TV, but he was constantly on X trying to talk to this person to come back and reform their team, or try taking to X to get with Bobby Lashley to reform the Hurt Business and all this other stuff. And it's like, if this is the best you've got, I get at the back of everyone's head, Zack Ryder basically built up his popularity based off his YouTube channel, taking the social media to build himself back up in the eyes of the fans, which we all know fans are the ones that make the world go round when it comes to wrestling. But they were sitting there trying to do that with Shelton Benjamin. It just didn't work. When I'd see stuff like that, I go, just stop.
yeah.
Just stop.
Yep. No, I mean that's about all.
He's one of those ones that you could move. He could go to Impact. He could go anywhere.
Literally anywhere.
It's like oh God, what was it? The Road Warriors. The Road Warriors at one point could sit there and write their ticket to anywhere they wanted to go in the world.
Yep. He is definitely one that
Shelton Benjamin is one of them that could write his ticket to go anywhere. Now, he's not as big a star as the Road Warriors, so he might have to put a little down payment down to get there, but he would make a name for himself anywhere he goes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I could not agree more there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here, along the lines of Mustafa Ali for this next person, she was literally getting used just about every week. And it definitely caught me off guard a little bit, even though I wasn't necessarily a huge fan of hers.
Right.
Dana Brooke definitely caught me off guard because of the fact of she was actually getting used.
She was getting used on NXT.
Yeah. And my whole thing where I see that she could fit in relatively well, in particular, I think that she would be a pretty good addition to Impact Knockouts division. I think she could do really well there. Hell, this is my thing. I've said it before with Impact. Criminally underrated, in my opinion, I'd say arguably has the best women's.
Did you really just go?
Let me finish, damn it.
My bad.
But no, like I was saying, arguably Impact has the best women's division out of any promotion on national TV right now. And I firmly believe that she would be a huge asset to the Knockouts division. And
if they booked her correct.
True. And I feel like she's a solid enough performer. I mean, yeah, I wasn't her hugest fan, but she was a solid performer. And
she was.
She I feel like a broken record, but she would just be an absolute asset to that division.
Yeah.
That's already got a lot of great people there.
So to go off on what you just said, you're right. Great. I mean, great asset. She could go anywhere. Another one that could punch her ticket and go. I mean, she has lost a little bit of muscle mass. Because I remember when she first showed up on WWE, she would come out and she could flex. And she would come out. Now, she would also do a front flip. She would come out, she'd do a flip, and then she'd sit there and flex and do one of these. And she was, she was your powerhouse female.
Yeah.
And then throughout time, she stopped being the powerhouse female and started being the pretty chick.
Yeah.
To the point to where they really had, and this is my caveat on releases and all this other stuff. Anybody that has been involved in the 24/7 title picture is on a list of releases.
Yeah.
Unless they've got something for them. Dana Brooke, minus her losing the title and having it thrown into the trash can, Dana Brooke was the last actual 24/7 champion.
Yep.
And most of the people that would chase down, whether it be R-Truth, whether it be Dana Brooke, whether it was Akira Tozawa, whether it was Drake Maverick, or whoever else was the champion, when they had the locker room come down and chase them out, they're on this list.
With the exception of
a handful, but a majority of them are on the list. Akira Tozawa is still on roster.
Yeah.
Because he's bit. They need someone to be the jobber of the stars.
And he's solid, dude. I've actually got to meet him.
He's very solid, but this is the thing. Back in the day, you'd have on Superstars, you'd have the enhancement talent, which is basically those guys that are WWE contract employees that would go to them from city to city, and they might get a match here and there against a fellow enhancement and talent, and they might get a win here and there. But most of the time, they were used to put over the bigger stars. Nowadays, with independent wrestling as becoming as it is, those guys are going off and doing their own thing. And now you've got WWE say go to we'll just say go to Omaha. They'll make a phone call. Hey, you got anyone that we can use for security? They'll call up to Minnesota. You got anyone that we need someone that can do a job. We need someone for security. We need someone for this, for that, for this, for that. That's how it is now. Back then, it was they got guys that are already on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
Dana Brooke is one of those that Akira Tozawa. He's a jobber of the stars. He's there just to put somebody over. I hate to say it like that, but
yeah, I hate to say it like that too.
But that's
like
basically it's like the modern day version of the Job Squad. Pin me, then pay me.
Pretty much.
And a handful of other people are the exact same way. There was who was it? There was somebody that was in that they did an interview. They did an interview with Chris Van Fleet that talked about a fan at a Q&A was getting on his case because he was on a losing streak. And he's like, but here's the thing. I'm getting paid to lose. That's the thing. I'm getting paid. Will I win? Maybe. But I'm getting paid to do the job that I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
And I heard that. I'm like, I'm good. Yeah.
Definitely. Hey, if you're
hey, job security.
Yeah. Hey, if they're gonna throw a boatload of money at you to do that, I am not gonna fault anybody for taking it. Not at all.
Nope.
Now, another person that we had on the list, we won't go over everybody because it might take a while to go over everybody.
So yeah, it'll take a while. So I'm gonna do this here real quick. So ones we'll talk about are your guys that you've seen on TV, right?
Now, the next one that
I've got a list right here, 15 names, which majority of them had been on TV at least twice.
Yeah. Now,
There's more. There was like 25 to 30 people that got released. And
yeah.
I will say this: they don't make a list because they were on NXT Next Level. If you've never heard of NXT Next Level, congratulate yourself. It's like watching somebody who walked into a wrestling school and trained for 3 days, and then you decide to throw them out in front of people.
Yeah, level up. Yeah, I know
Level
what
up. That's what it is. Level up. It's basically developmental for development.
now.
I stay away from it because if I want to watch crap wrestling, we've already had that up. We've already had that video. Never mind. So anyway,
No.
I'll finish that. I'll finish that thought. If I want to watch crap wrestling, I know where to go on YouTube to find it.
Yep, we'll leave it at that. Next person I wanted to talk about, though, one that the reason this one is surprising to me is because I have it in my notes here. It's like, wasn't she just re-signed not long ago? And I'm talking about Emma.
Yeah.
It's like she had a pretty great first. She had a good first run.
Mhm.
Then she went over with Impact, had a great thing there. I believe that she even did some stuff with Ring of Honor's women's division.
Yeah, not for
I
like a cup
might
of
be
coffee.
mistaken. I'm wanting to say I have a memory of that. And where I think she could definitely along the lines of Dana Brooke. She could be an asset to the Impact Knockouts division. She already has a history with the company.
Yeah.
She could also do great things. Japanese women's wrestling is amazing. They got some great promotions over there. Stardom comes to mind. I think she could. What the? Did you just fart or something?
No, you you were talking about going over to Japan, and you said over there with a D, and I was like,
I did not. You know what? I'm gonna have to play it back. I don't think I said it like that. But anyways, man, you just had this look on your face. For those that'll watch this YouTube, tell me my friend Nate here did not just look like somebody just farted in that damn room and he just got a huge ass whiff of it. And yes, I used ass in the description. But
is there going to be a profanity warning?
fuck no. I'll just say this. We discussed before recording, there was my subtle reasoning behind why I put it on the one that I did. We use that language enough here that if I put that on every one, I would literally have to put it on the description of the YouTube channel. Just put a parental advisory right on the damn thing.
And of course, we don't use that kind of language on the show. People will think that we're sick.
Yeah, exactly. They would think something's wrong with me. But to get back into this, I think that Emma could definitely do some great things. And it just caught me off guard because I'm like, like I said that I had in my notes here, it's like, wasn't she just re-signed?
Yep. She had just re-signed. I think she came back Royal Rumble or right after WrestleMania, one of the two. She had one or two matches. And I think here's where everything went to shit for her. And don't take what my next words are as to go along with going to shit. She's dating Riddick Moss. She's actually in an actual relationship with Riddick Moss.
Mm-hmm.
In WWE's eyes of everything, if you're a couple, if you're married, it makes it even better. But if you're a couple, you go as a couple.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's either Emma or one of the two actually caught the cut bug, and because of as a couple, they both had to get released. That knocks another one off your list because Riddick Moss was also released.
Yes, and
Now,
you
as
know
far
what,
as
we'll
Emma
jump
Jones,
back.
we're talking about Emma. She basically got put in as manager slash
Yeah.
What's the word I'm looking for? Hype person. Because
She was basically a glorified manager for
yes,
Riddick Moss.
because he'd sit there and see he'd have a match, and he'd go, "Babe, you're the best. You can do this. You've got this. Yes, yes. You go out there and show me how much you love me. Beat this guy's ass, yada yada." And he'd come out and he's all hyped up, and then it's a squash match. 2 minutes later, he's counting the lights, getting pinned.
Yeah, and you know
And
we'll jump into things with him for a little bit because there's other people that I want to cover more here.
mhm,
He was sporadically getting used, but he was
he was
getting
sporadically
used
getting used.
a little bit. I think he has some potential to get things going underneath him here.
Mm-hmm.
Could join Emma in Impact. I mean, there's that chance he could have a pretty decent indie run, in my opinion.
I think
But
what a majority of these people need to do is just take an indie run first, and because they're not going to be able to do anything
yeah,
for 90 days. They're not going to be able to do anything. I guarantee someone sitting at home
yep,
not doing anything. They might hit the gym, but guess what? If you sign with AEW, you sign with Impact, you better have a couple dark matches under your belt to get that ring rust of 90 days sitting on your ass off.
I imagine a bunch of them. We talked a little bit about Shelton Benjamin. He has been popping up in videos with Lance Archer.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So, I mean, I don't imagine any of these people have been just sitting on the.
Shelton Benjamin with the Murder Hawk Monster? That doesn't make sense.
Hey, it is what it is.
That's a dude. That's a dude. I swear to God, when I first saw Lance Archer, I thought this dude is too skinny for his body.
And then he's definitely
and he has built himself up, and I'm.
Oh yeah, I got to meet him once, and yeah, he's definitely one that when you meet him at first before you start talking to him, he's like, oh my God, he's intimidating. But then you get to talking to him and he ain't so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely wouldn't want to piss him off.
No.
Now, next person that I want to kind of dive into a little bit here. I'm not necessarily their biggest fan. I've said what I have here, but Top Dollar. Now, my whole thing, I've said what I have about them bringing back some members of Hit Row. Now, the thing here is, like I've said before, Hit Row, this second run, air quotes, second run, if you will, they weren't anything special without Swerve. Not at all. I don't know. The magic just wasn't there for me. It was not there.
The magic was an A.
And here, yeah, and you know what? Here's the thing. Now, I might not necessarily be his biggest fan, but would trying to figure out a good way to put it. It would be interesting to see him joining Swerve with this Mogul Embassy. I could see that being relatively
I have no problem with that as long as he doesn't try and dive off over the top rope.
Oh my God. Yeah. That's a whole thing.
So
all right.
Okay. So I guess you put your 2 cents in. Here's my 2 cents. Okay. Go to the next one. I didn't see anything with Top Dollar. He's another jobber of the stars.
Yeah, like I said, I wasn't necessarily his biggest fan. The only place that I could see some interesting aspects coming of him getting released is, and if he wants to continue pro wrestling career is him joining Swerve with the Mogul Embassy.
Mhm.
I could see that being interesting. But yeah, we'll move on. This one, well, maybe not necessarily surprising of a release, but I could see some interesting things coming from these two. Mason Mansoor of the former Maximum Male Models.
Now,
I could see
if you've
this
never
is-
know if you've ever noticed, unlike the rest of them, they've actually gone on social media and they've talked.
that they have.
People have gone on there. I think they're on Twitch, and they're
Yeah.
both doing something on Twitch, and they're doing like Q&As
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And they're making sure their name gets out there.
That and with Mansoor, I might not necessarily pay too much attention to NXT. I try to every once in a while watch, but on Fightful's NXT review show with the Sourgrass with Alex and Kate, he was actually on this last week's one. They actually had him on there, and my whole thing with a potential place I could see them really fitting in kind of goes along with Elias. If they are wanting to use that similar gimmick, Impact, I could definitely see that gimmick getting over on Impact.
Okay. So let me just go with this. I'll start off. I'm not going to do them at the same time. Mansoor, aside from being a part of the male models, what has he done? Exactly. His biggest thing was, I guess, when he signed with WWE, his contract stated that he could never lose in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, I remember.
That's fine. You can put it in there, but guess what? We're going to job you out to every Tom, Dick, and Harry when you come overseas. Which it sucks. I mean, he seems like he's a good talent, but it's just when you sit there and say, "Hey, by the way, I don't want to lose in my home country," I get that, because how many times do they go to Saudi Arabia? And when they go to Saudi Arabia, guess what? They catch so much hell because of their wonderful human rights record.
Yeah.
And if anyone can tell how facetious I'm being, Saudi Arabia is not known for human rights.
Yeah.
Sorry. So there's that with Mansoor. He's got more wrestling talent than his partner Mace. If anyone knows anything about Mace, he used to be a football player. He used to play football. I guess he got hurt and decided he wanted to be a wrestler. Before he actually started wrestling, he was down in NXT before NXT was NXT. Yeah. And they called him up to be one of the commentary team. He was one of the commentary team. He was one of the commentators for Raw when they had the announce desk way up by the entrance, which I thought was one of the, until AEW did it, I thought where they placed the commentators table was one of the stupidest places I'd ever seen. And then AEW started doing it. It's like, okay, this kind of works.
Yeah.
But then again, AEW stage was a hell of a lot bigger than what WWE was using. So you could hide your commentary team back over here. Whereas on Raw, they were right there. If Edge had not been retired or hurt or on SmackDown, he comes running out. The commentary team's getting burned because that's right where his fireworks are.
Yep.
So getting back to Mace, he took to Twitter during this time, because it was Twitter back then, and kept saying he wanted to be the one to retire Brock Lesnar. You remember that? Well, guess what happened? Well, guess what happens when you run your mouth about Brock Lesnar? Brock Lesnar tends to take notice, and I think he attacked him at one point, and broke his arm. Yeah. And next thing you know, you don't see anything from him. You don't hear anything from him. And then all of a sudden, the whole retribution storyline started. And there he is with this mask, whatever the hell it was. Mask and the stupid face paint thing. And it's not like we couldn't figure out who the hell these people were.
Yeah.
I mean, did they? It falls in line with the booking style of wrestling fans aren't that smart. That's how I called it. It was they thought we're not that smart to figure out that the chick here is Mia Yim. It's not that we're not that smart to figure out the other one is Mercedes Martinez. There's not too many people that have that many freaking tattoos. It looks like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely go along.
Yeah, so it's one of those where it's like, no,
Yeah.
I think they could both of them either. Mansoor has a better chance of making it somewhere, whether it's on Impact, probably on Impact, maybe MLW. Mace, I really haven't seen him wrestle, so I don't know what kind of talent he actually has. So I don't know. I can't form that opinion on where he would be good. Maybe he could go to MLW and be in a manager role.
True. All right. Now, last one that we'll cover here because there's others that I'm just not certain where I think I would even see them going. The one that it might have surprised some people, it might have not. Matt Riddle.
Matt Riddle.
Now, I'm personally, this one I do not think had anything to do with his in-ring abilities.
Mm-mm.
I'm thinking this was more of a backstage, outside of the ring thing, at least from some of the stories that came out right before they said they had him released. Now, as far as where I might see him going, I definitely, one that it took me a minute to think of this, but then I'm like, you know what? They could go back to doing that. When GCW had the first blood sport shows, it was Matt Riddle's blood sport.
Isn't it Josh Barnett's blood sport now?
It is his now.
Okay.
But I believe, and yeah, I mean, by all means, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Originally, it was Matt Riddle's. So GCW is a place that I might see him being able to go back into that. Definitely could do stuff, over in Japan. Impact's another possible spot. NWA, there's loads of places he could go. It's just the only thing I think with him is going to need to be reining in the outside of the ring behaviors. Because I've heard of it brought up this way, that him teaming with Randy Orton was said to be the guy to kind of somewhat rein in a lot of that stuff during the RK Bro days. Yeah, they had their goofy moments, but you didn't necessarily hear so much about the backstage stuff during those days.
Right.
Now, if he could rein in those, he's got lots of great stuff ahead of him. It's just that matter of reining in those behaviors.
Where do I go with this? Matt Riddle has a problem. No. I could see him going to the same places, Impact, MLW. I also see him going back to, say, PWG, a lot of the bigger indie promotions that he has, been at with like Keith Lee and stuff. I could see him going to AEW with Keith Lee.
Yeah.
But
We'll
I'm
see.
not sure. I'm not sure if Tony Khan wants Matt to bring his personal life with him.
Yeah, that's going
Because
to be.
if you hadn't figured it out, Matt likes his weed, and I don't know if that could get a strike, but he likes his wacky stuff.
The whole thing there is if it's legal wherever the hell you're at, whatever. Treat it like most people everywhere else do alcohol. Just
Now
do it when you're not at work. Whatever.
Yeah. Now the other stuff. Yeah, that's I'm not sure what to say about it.
Yeah.
You read about it and you're like, ugh. And it's like you sit there. I don't know how many people actually know what the backstory stuff is with Matt, but why?
Yeah.
Not why as in why you don't know what the backstage stuff is. I'm trying to figure out why he did what he did.
Yeah. I really don't have a comment there because
I mean you've seen the before and after pictures. That's like before and after.
Yeah.
So it's like, what the hell? But I'm thinking that his personal habits that he had was part of the reasoning behind the his release, because like you said, if it's legal in the state you're at, you have no problem with it.
Yeah.
The only problem is that you have a company that goes to all 50 states, and you have a performer that partakes in things that's only legal in about 30% of the country. So it's one of those things where it's like, okay, well, we can't have you doing this. And then he shows up doped to the gills. And it's like, well, we can't use you because it's not legal.
Yeah.
Because any drug agent will know just by looking at someone that he's doped up to the gills, and that's a problem.
Yeah. We could go into
and the other stuff. Yeah, I mean, make better choices, dude. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
I mean,
that is
about all. It's one thing to be in the penthouse. It's another thing to be in the basement.
Yeah. Well, I guess that is about all I have to say on the WWE releases. I don't know if you got anything else.
I mean, two of them I can understand why they got released. We didn't discuss them. I'm just going to say this: you don't need 7-foot dancing people.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that. If you watch wrestling, you know what the hell I'm talking about. Yep. That's all I got for that. I'm just gonna
leave it. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. That is about all for this one. Everybody have a good week. Let's fucking go.